Okay, going live. Hello everyone, I am Sanjay Gupta. I welcome you on Sanjay Gupta Tech School. Today we are having one more session on OmniStudio, and for that I have Abhishek with me. Welcome Abhishek on the channel. So, Abhishek will be delivering a few more scenarios and exploring like OmniScript, how we can use OmniScript in OmniStudio. So the agenda is like he will try to connect OmniScript with IP and data raptor, so that bidirectional data transfer can happen. So we will be receiving input from OmniScript, will pass it into IP, then IP will be passing input to data raptor, and then through data raptor responses will be returned till OmniScript, right? And the same scenario in upcoming session we will be relating with flex cards, right? So this way you will get to know like how all components will be connected together, and then few more scenarios, whatever comes in your mind, you can implement with the help of those. Okay, so to explain those scenarios, I just want Abhishek. So before that, Abhishek, if you can introduce yourself.
Yeah, sure, Sanjay. Thank you. So, hi everyone. Myself, Abhishek, and I'm working as a Salesforce Velocity developer in this community since 5+ years now. And I have done few certifications around Velocity slash OmniStudio, and some of them are like OmniStudio Developer Industry CPQ, and also one is from Velocity, which was called as Health Insurance Coding. And I have done some certification around Salesforce as well. So yeah, that's all about me.
Okay, so thank you, Abhishek. And this is the Telegram group which you can join, and where lots of folks are connected. So if you want to discuss any Salesforce related thing, so you can join this group. And next, if you want to share any review or feedback about the bootcamp, so you can do, so that we can know like how we are doing, and if any improvement is required, or if any suggestions you want to share for any topic or any upcoming bootcamp, so you can do that as well. Okay, so I think we can jump onto the scenarios now. So as I already told you, like you will be learning a scenario where three tools of OmniStudio will be connected together. So OmniScript plus IP plus DR, right? So over to you, Abhishek. Please start with the
Yeah,
session.
sure. So in our last session, what we did is we called a data raptor from OmniScript directly, right? But sometimes what happened, I mean, like in a single transaction, we want to call multiple data raptors or multiple backend support or some business logic. So let's say if I want to call two data raptors into a single transaction. So if I go by the mechanism of calling DR from OmniScript, then I have to drag and drop two data raptors action into the OmniScript. Instead, what we can do is we can call a single IP, and in that single IP, we can call two data raptors, right? So that would be a good perform. If we see from the perspective of performance, it would be a good performance tool, because now in the previous scenario there were two backend calls, but now there will be only one backend call, right? So in the first scenario, what we're gonna do is, first of all, from the OmniScript, we will gonna read what object user want to extract. So we will be creating a pick list where we will give option account or contacts for now, and then whatever value user selects, we're gonna pass it to the IP, and in IP we're gonna call two data raptors conditionally. If user selects account, then we'll call the data raptor for account. If user selects contact, then we're gonna call the data raptor for contact. And whatever response is getting returned from the data raptor, we're gonna to the IP, we're gonna pass it on to the OmniScript, and in the OmniScript, we're gonna display the um, uh, the result, whatever is coming from the IP. So let me jump onto the here. Okay. So we're gonna create a new OmniScript first. So let's call it as OmniScript account contact info. And here, let's say I'm gonna call it as account, or I'm gonna call it as object. And let's say account contact, account or contact, we can say. Here also we can say that account or contact, and save it. Okay. So first of all, what we want to do is we want to get an input from the user with the help of a pick list. So here we can say the step name can be choose object. And in this step, what we can do is we can just drag and drop one input field, which would be, I think, select, this one. So pick list is called as select over here. And in the options, as we discussed previously, we have multiple options: custom, manual, and as object. But for now, we can keep it as manual. So we will say account. So again, this will have two things: value and label. Label you can give anything, but label will be displayed on the UI, and whatever value you will type in here, it will be saved into the Omni data JSON. That is also called as OmniScript data model that we saw in the previous session. And I'll click on save and new, and second will be our contact. Save it. And we're gonna call it as object pick list. And it should be required. If user is not selecting this one, then user should not be able to move ahead. Okay. So first of all, we will go to the preview and see the UI, how it's gonna look like. Yeah. So as we can see, the step name is coming as choose object, and we have two values over here, contact and account. If I select account, into the data JSON that you can see, we have the object selected as account, and if I select contact, then it will be coming as a contact. And if I select nothing, then it will show me the error, the object is required. Now, what we're gonna do is, we're gonna drag and drop two things. First one would be, two steps. First one that will show the contact details, the account details. And second one would be the contact details. That would be the contact details. And what we're gonna do here is we're gonna add some conditions. So whatever value we are selecting into the previous step, next step will be the conditional step, because if you select the account, then this step should be visible. If you select the contact, then this step should be visible, right? So here I'm gonna add a condition where I can say the object should be equals to account, correct?
Right.
And for this one, we're gonna say the object value should be the contact. Okay. And if we again go to the preview, and let's say I'm gonna select the account value now, account, and if I click next, you can see the account step is coming. If I select the contact, I think I have to refresh. Okay, I think I have given the wrong value in it.
So
conditional.
account is getting displayed.
Yeah, account is getting displayed, but for the contact, I think there is some. So I have set CONTACT. That is fine. And here, what I have said here is conditional object is equals to
Just check. Okay, space is also not there.
save it. Mhm. Okay, let's go back. I am selecting contact. So as soon as I'm selecting the contact, the next button is not coming. But if I select account, that
No.
means
For account also, okay. Uh, Next button
the
is
up for
coming if
account
you.
is coming, but for the contact, it's not coming. So spelling is also correct. Okay. Object is equals to,
Maybe if we can delete and recreate it.
yeah, to be strong. Yeah, I mean, like this is some sort of
Yeah,
OmniStudio issue
sometimes
might
it
be.
happens. Yeah.
Yeah,
So here in OmniScript, like these steps are similar to screens that we create in Flow, right?
yeah, exactly.
And inside steps, we need to put particular component. So like here, you provided this something to display.
Yeah,
Now it is
now it
coming.
is coming.
Right.
Contact. And
So
if I
guys,
select
yeah.
account,
So this is a
the
learning
account
as
will.
well. If sometimes if your component is not working, so maybe you can try and recreate.
Correct. Now, uh, before showing the values into the account details or the contact details, what we want to do is we want to fetch the data with the help of IP and DR. So I'm gonna go into the action and we'll drag and drop one integration procedure action before after the when we have selected the
Object. Right.
object value.
Yeah.
So here we can say simple is like IP underscore fetch account or contact. And we're gonna create a new IP for this because it would be IP. So here I mean, like we can create the IPs in a two ways. First, you can go to the IP from the navigation and you can create there, or you can directly create from this button as well.
Okay. So I think it will open a sub tab now.
Correct. Yes. Yeah. So I mean, like going to the IP menu, then creating a new one. That step have been saved from us. Now, what we have to do is we have to pass one input, which would be like I mean, like what value we have selected into the previous step. So we can send it with the help of remote properties, or we can send it with the help of send JSON path as well. It is similar to the IP actions that we have. If you have followed us into the IP section, you should remember what is send JSON path, send JSON node, and all these things. So here I'm gonna say send the value from choose object, and then the value of the object. So we can simply say here is like
Or we
choose
can,
object.
yeah, we can remember like send means we are passing inputs and response
Correct.
means we are receiving some outputs.
Correct. So whatever value we have in this node, we are sending into the send JSON node, which is called as object. So if I show you from the preview, right, what will happen? account. If I click next, we haven't activated the IP, but I think we can still see what input is going. So as you can see, the input is going as object account.
Right.
Correct. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna add two conditional block into the IP. First one is for the account, and in the conditional formula, so the input that we are passing is this object, correct? So we're gonna say here, object should be equals to account.
Single,
ACCO.
I think double equals to.
Yeah, my bad. And for the second one, what it should be contact. So I think this is pretty simple and straightforward.
Right.
Now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna call two data raptors. One is for the account and one is for the contact. Okay. And let's say I'm gonna call it as DRE account. And let's create a new one so that we do there will be no confusion. Account fetch. And here what we can do is for now we will simply we will be only fetching one record of the account just for the demo purpose. So we can say here like name is not equals to blank value, and we will add a limit. Let's say which would be 1.
Yeah.
And
So
for the output,
yeah. So guys, knowingly we are setting that limit as 1. So you might be thinking why it is 1, because through OmniScript, through Data Raptor, if we don't have any limit, so it will be giving lots of records. And on
Correct.
OmniScript, we can display only one record at a time, right, Abhishek?
yeah, we can display multiple records as well, but that will be our purpose for this scenario is to show the conditionally execution. That is why we are doing this one.
Okay, but if we have bulk data, so that also can be displayed.
That can be displayed, but into the other form. But generally, what we do is when we have multiple records coming from the data raptor, if we want to show onto the UI, we usually use the flex cards to show the data.
Okay, so flex card we will be using inside OmniScript.
Correct. Yes.
Okay, makes sense.
Yeah. So as part of this data raptor, I'm saying where name is not equals to null and limit is 1, and I'm just having the name as output. Okay.
Right.
Similarly, we don't need to pass any sort of input from here, so we can skip that part. Similarly, we will do for the contact as well. And if anyone is thinking that this is too fast, I'll be explaining each and every step again after the completion. So this is contact.
No, I think those who are following all the sessions, they can relate with you.
Pace up the things now, yes. Because what I'm doing into the data raptor, that should be on your tips now.
Right.
So this is contacts, and here again I'm gonna say let's last name not equals to blank value, and limit is equals to 1. And for this one as well, I'm gonna get the last name. And similarly, I'm gonna have the output in the name only. And if I go to preview, execute, the last name is coming as Sanjay. Okay. And into now we have called our data raptor, correct?
Yep.
Now we want to add a response action. So now we have two options to add a response action. First is we can add two response action into this each and every conditional block. Or what we can do is we can write our condition into directly into the additional output response. And how we can do that, I'll show you. Okay, I'll show you both the options. So if I do this one, if I add response action into each and every conditional block, So here what I can do is, in the response action, I can directly pass the DRE account. So if this step will execute, this response action will execute. And if I do this one, and for this one, what we can do is simply, instead of account, we'll pass contact. So in this case, we have two data raptors call and two response action, which will execute on a condition. But we can optimize this IP in a more efficient way. And for that one, what we can do is we can create a response action, a single response action. And for that one, what we can do here is we will call it as response. And here, what we can say is, let's say I'm gonna get the name output, and what I'm gonna say over here is, if the merge field object is equals to account, correct? Then give me the output from account colon DRE account. So let's go back here, and I'm gonna say % this colon DRE account. Okay.
Yeah, I think in the
Oh, sorry, my bad.
yeah, account colon DRE account.
Yeah. Yes. Account colon DRE account, or otherwise give me the output from the contact colon DRE contact. Okay. So this is how we can create a formula into the response action so that we don't have to use multiple response actions. And if I go to preview, and just for testing purpose, let's say I'm gonna do the account, execute. The name is coming as null, okay. And response action, this one is coming. Okay, I think I have made one mistake, which is I think we don't need this one. The conditional block name, that is not required. And now if I go to preview and execute, so the name is coming. And if I do here is like contact, then it would be like name. Okay.
Right. Yeah. Both are working.
Correct. So just to differentiate it, what we can do here is, because the result is coming in a bit weird form, name colon name. So we can say that the result, yeah. So it would be like result colon name. Okay. So result, now it is coming from the contact. And if I do this, it is coming from the account. Fine.
Right.
And I'm going to activate this IP so that we can use it. And if I go here now, and if I go back to the design, so in the step, what we can do is we can just have one display text block in both of them. And here what we can say is the result which will be coming from your IP is result colon name, correct? And similarly, same thing we can do in the contact as well. So now what will happen? Whatever data raptor will execute, our result is same. Result will always come into the result colon name, correct? Right. So we don't have to worry about what path we should give over here. It would be always same. So if we are selecting an account, this step will execute, and this result will be coming from account. And if we select contact, then this will be coming. So, now, if I go to preview and if I try to execute it now.
I have one question, like if we used two responses with one, like first conditional block, one response, another different response, then whatever naming convention we use there, those naming convention we need to use here, right? We need to remember.
Right. So basically, in whatever form your IP is giving the result, you have to use that format into your OmniScript.
Yeah.
So now if I select the account and if I click next, the name is coming as Abhishek, the whatever result is coming from your account. And if I select contact and if I click next, the Sanjay, the contact name is coming.
Okay. So here one more thing. You provided result colon name. What if we provide say, only result? So it should show name colon something like that.
No.
Okay.
So OmniScript will never show that JSON format
Okay.
because your output is coming in a JSON format. So you have to OmniScript will always show the value part, not the key part.
Key part. Okay. So we need to
So
we
that
need to use key so that we can display the values. If multiple keys are there, so we need to write them in the same format.
separately.
Yeah, separately.
Yeah. So that is our first example. And Sanjay, if you want, I can reiterate all the things that we have done in here.
Yeah, I think quickly you can start from the beginning.
Yeah. So first of all, what we did is we created a step, and in that step uh, we have dragged and dropped one select input from the build panel, and in this one, what we have done is we have added two options. First is account, second is contact, and whatever value we are selecting into this pick list, we are passing the input to this IP with the help of send response transformations. And if I go to the IP now, in the IP, what we have done is, okay, just a second. So into the IP, we have again created two blocks, conditional blocks. First is for account, second is for contact. And we have said like if object is equals to account, then execute this one. If object is equals to contact, then execute this one.
Right.
And simply we have called some data raptor and got some results from the data raptor. And into the response action, we have selected this output response. And in this output response, what we are saying is if object is equals to account, then give me the result, whatever is coming from DRE account, which is this data raptor. Otherwise, give me the result from DRE contact, which is this data raptor, conditionally. And if we come back to our OmniScript, into our OmniScript, I have added two steps. First step is account details, for which I have added one condition where I'm saying is if object is equals to account, then show this one. And if object is equals to contact, then show this one. And into the each step, whatever result is coming from our IP, I'm just showing the results in it. So by this one, what we are able to achieve is we are able to achieve how to read some values from the pick list, how to pass some data from OmniScript to your IP, and then how to implement multiple elements where we want to add some conditional, where we want to execute some elements which are conditional, and then how we can pass the output from data raptor to IP and IP to OmniScript.
Yep, perfect.
Correct.
And it was very interesting. Now, those who are following all the scenario sessions which we are doing in this season 2, I think now they can relate why we implemented Data Raptor, why we studied Data Raptor first, then IP, and then now OmniScript. So through OmniScript, like the UI representation is available. So whatever input you want to receive, you can, whatever responses we are coming, you can display. So this make more sense. So I think with this demonstration, everybody will be able to relate the uses of Data Raptor, IP, and then OmniScript.
Yeah. So I mean, like kind of what we are doing right now is, so whatever we did into the data raptor and IP sessions, where we have executed all the scenarios like conditional block, loop block, calling DRs, calling another IPs. I mean, we were passing the output always from the preview, which is your temporary input. But now we are passing this temporary input with an actual OmniScript input, which user is selecting. So basically, we are doing the same things. It's just that now we are doing all the things in a real-time scenario.
Right.
And that is our end goal. I mean, like I mean, if we are creating backend and if we are not creating front end, then there is no use of it.
Yeah, totally makes sense. Both are
Yeah,
equally important.
exactly. Yes. So now, if I go back to the second scenario for the today's session, which is type ahead block. So, what is your type ahead block? First of all, we will understand that. For that one, let me open one contact record. And let's say I'm going to open this Sanjay's record. And in this one, we have a lookup to account, which is okay. Yeah, here we go. So if I select some values in it, let's say I'm going to say SGTS. So whatever accounts where we have SGTS in our name, that all accounts are coming over here. And we can select any one of them.
Yeah.
Correct? So that sort of functionality we're going to build with the help of OmniScript.
Okay.
So I mean, like you are typing, and with whatever value you are typing, you will get the related records similar to that name. Okay. So Discord, I'm gonna go to OmniScript again.
So
Let's create it.
yeah, before you create, there is a quick question from Satvik. He's asking, can we have an IP without a response action? I think no.
I mean, we can have an IP without the response action, but use case will be different. Let's say if you want to execute some sort of batch class or the batch process from which you don't need any sort of response back from your IP. You just want to execute it and you just want to forget about it. Then you can create an IP without the response action. But if you want some sort of result from your IP, then you have to add a response action.
Yeah, so if Satvik, if you are from development background, so if I take example of Apex method, so whenever we call any method, so we have functionality known as return type. So if method is doing something and you don't want to return the result of that method from where you are calling, so you will be using void as a data type, right? But
Correct.
if you want to return something from the method, you use a return statement. So your response action is kind of same. If you want to return some values from IP to any other tool, so for that purpose you will be using response action.
Yeah. So let's move ahead, Sanjay. Okay.
Yep.
So we're gonna say like type ahead block OS, type ahead block, save it. Let's say we're gonna select some sort of account records. Select account. And there is one thing called in your build parameter, which is type ahead block. Okay. You just need to drag and drop that one. And let's give it a name like search account. And okay. And here what we can do here is in this type ahead block. So basically, if we see whenever we are selecting a value, like I have just showed you on the contact, we were like selecting the account. So Salesforce is doing some sort of backend call where whatever user is typing, Salesforce is getting back the account record with the related name. So similar thing we have to do also. So we have to drag and drop one data raptor or IP action. So let's say I'm gonna go with the data raptor. So let's drag and drop one data raptor action. Okay. So if you can see, this data raptor is contained into your type ahead block only. I mean, like if I want this data raptor can be outside your type ahead block, but if you want to use data raptor within your type ahead block,
I think it is removed. We need to place it again.
Okay. No, I think there's some issues with this UI. Yeah. So, so now what will happen? We can just simply create a data raptor here. Let's say we're gonna say fetch accounts. Okay. And create. So let's create a new data raptor. Okay. So whenever we want to fetch the account records with the similar name, this give me a field of like operator, correct? Because equals will always give me a exact value account name. So here what I can do is accounts, and let's say I'm gonna search it on the name like. Let's say I'm gonna pass a parameter from the OmniScript, which is param. And as a output, what I'm gonna receive is first of all the account name, and let's say second parameter will be, for example, let's say I'm gonna get the ID. Okay, and if I select this one like is param, let's say SGTS, and if I execute, I will receive this much of data account records. So data raptor is simple. We have used the like operator. And from the OmniScript to this data raptor, we're gonna pass whatever we are typing into this type ahead block. So for the name is search accounts. So whatever we are entering into this search accounts, we want to pass it to the data raptor. So let's say if I'm typing something into this as search account, something like SGTS, so that will get passed to our data raptor, and data raptor will give us the results. Okay. Now, if I go back and click on the type ahead block, there is a thing called type ahead key. Now, what is this? So, whatever value you are giving to your data raptor, and as a result, what you are getting name and ID. Correct? So, if I type in name over here, Amy. So, okay, I'll show you from the preview this one so that it will make more sense. So let's say I'm gonna type SGTS. So as a result of list, what I am able to see all the names, correct? And for example, let's say if I'm gonna type ID over here.
So,
ID.
Okay, it will show you the IDs of those particular records.
Exactly. But we will search it with the name only because we are passing the name. Okay, I think there is some issue. Okay, so your key and your filter criteria name should be similar. Okay, so I have to. Okay, so what I can do here is, what else we can do? I think on active field, right?
In that case, like how you will be able to search the name SGTS? You will be searching through ID then?
Yeah.
Okay. So I think in that case, like name is preferred because in the lookup we generally use the name field of that particular object. So I think it doesn't make any sense if we choose any other field, because standard functionality also prefer that name field that we create with the object.
Yeah, and I mean, like in real life scenario, no one is gonna search any record with the ID.
Right, exactly. So we can change the type ahead keys to name, and then I think this example makes sense.
Yeah, and the other thing is, I mean, like, okay, what will happen now? Let's say I'm gonna SGTS and I'm gonna select the Abhishek SGTS test one. So as you can see in the result, you are able to get the name as well as the ID. So whatever results we are getting from the data raptor. So let's say I'm going to add one more value. For example, let's say active field. Okay. And if I'm going to go here and let's say I'm going to refresh and let's say SGTS again, and I'm going to select the Abhishek SGTS. So as a result, I'm going to get now active field as well.
Yeah.
So whatever fields that you are fetching from your data raptor, you will be able to save into your data JSON. So this is the, this is the far most coolest thing I have seen on the OmniScript. That with the minimal configuration, you can build a custom lookup filter kind of thing in Salesforce.
And in this scenario, like this fetch account, this data raptor you used inside the type ahead block. If we use it outside, then also like
No.
we won't be able to relate it, right?
So basically, whatever you have into your type ahead block, that will be only the only data source for your type ahead block.
Okay. So generally we use data raptor only because we just need to fetch the data. So there is no need
Correct.
to attach IP here. So data raptor would be okay.
Sometimes we have to use IPs as well. The reason is, let's say if you want to fetch the data from your external system, right?
Okay.
So in that case, data raptor won't be possible. You have to use the IP.
Yeah, IP can integrate with third-party system and then can pull the data.
Correct. So that is our second scenario for today's session.
Yep, I think it was good. So both the scenarios are very good for them who are following all. So I think now with OmniScript connected with IP and data raptor, if anybody wants to implement any scenario at their own, so they will be able to implement. So guys, we will be doing one more session on OmniScript, like how we can update the record, or how we can connect, how we can place lightning web component in OmniScript, right? So those sort of functionalities Abhishek will be demonstrating. And then we will be having one session where he will demonstrate how we can leverage FlexCard in this. Yeah, right. Because so in the first scenario that you saw in today's session, it was missing FlexCard. That's why we were not able to show all the records that we fetch from the data raptor. But through FlexCard, it will be very easy. We can do it through OmniScript as well, but using FlexCard will be very easy. So that we will be doing, and then we'll be doing some projects so that some difficult functionalities you will be able to understand. Okay, so I think next week all these sessions will be completed.
Yeah.
Okay, so thank you, Abhishek, for delivering the knowledge, and thank you for joining the session. And if you're watching the recording, thank you. I hope you are liking all the sessions. Okay, thank you everyone. See you in the next session.